So, did I ever imagine that we will be living furniture free? Well, the answer is 100% no. No at all. I would, if you would have asked me before, like, are you willing to let go of everything? My answer would have been no. Why? Why should I give rid of everything that I own right now? No. But well, we have done it, and this is the why. Welcome. I am Milly Rios, and in this channel, I try to share with you all about my lifestyle. I talk about minimalism, sustainability, veganism, and yoga, because that's the way that I live. And slow living, and slow living in New York City is totally different than slow living by the ocean, slow living by the farm and having your own animals. Hell, well, this is different, right? Well, if I will have a farm in Costa Rica or anywhere, it will be a sanctuary, just for you to know. Anyways, how I say, this video is gonna be about why we let go of all our furniture, and for you to understand, I have to give you a little bit of background. So everything started in 2017 when we started traveling to different countries. Before to 2017, we used to travel specifically to Costa Rica because I am from Costa Rica and my whole entire family live in Costa Rica. So we used to go and visit my family in Costa Rica. But in 2017, we went to Mexico. Well, it was my first time to Mexico. It wasn't the first time of my husband in Mexico, but it was my first time going to another country that it was now USA and Costa Rica. And I got in love with Mexico, and because of that, we decided to go to different countries and don't go as much to Costa Rica. I know, I'm from Costa Rica. Costa Rica is beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, but I wanted to explore other countries. And we make our big trip to Asia. The first time that we went to Thailand. We went for 40 days, and we just took a medium-sized type of luggage for my husband and I. So my husband and I took one middle-sized luggage, and that's it. In those 40 days, we noticed that we actually brought way more clothing than we needed, because of course we were washing clothes and you reuse your favorite clothes, and the other clothes that we brought, we actually didn't use it or wear it. So just because of that trip, we started thinking, how much stuff and clothes do we have in our one-bedroom apartment in New York City? And that's how we started deciding to start living more simpler. In 2017, or 2018, I can say, we start letting go of many things: clothing, accessories, shoes, things that we didn't use or need, or it didn't fit us correctly, or anything that it didn't bring anything into our life. So that was how we started minimizing. So we already planted that seed in our brains that we wanted it to live more simpler with less stuff and experience more things and traveling a little bit more over the years. The second trip that we did, guess what? It was Asia one more time. Well, my husband and I love Asia, and here in New York City we have Koreatown. We used to go to Koreatown as many times as we could. That was before we became vegan, and when we became vegan, it was a little bit more challenging to find vegan Korean restaurants in Koreatown. But guess what? They do have vegan Korean restaurants in Koreatown here in New York City, so we still go. Anyway, so we decided to go to South Korea this time. the same. We went for 40 days. We will spend 20 days in South Korea, and we went back to Thailand for another 20 days. On those trip, we just didn't bring any luggage. We were not using luggage anymore. We let go of the luggage. We just bought the backpacks that you can go and check on my other YouTube videos, and we just carried the backpack for 40 days. Yes, 40 days, cold weather and summer weather, and everything fit in that backpack. Yes, and I think that maybe we brought more than we needed as well. Anyways, in South Korea, we went to Seoul, and we went on March, so it was really cold weather. And in South Korea, we start noticing that a lot of elder people, first of all, they hike a lot, they walk a lot, and as well, when we start going to different traditional vegan restaurants in South Korea, we start noticing that first of all, you have to take your shoes off to get in the restaurant, and second of all, they have a table just like this. You sit down on the floor, and the table is just a line for you to eat. And we started observing that a lot of elder people were capable to sit down on the floor easily and comfortable, stay there on the floor and have their meal, and then just stand up and walk and go. Well, I don't know about where you live in your country, but it's unusual, at least I think, to see older people being really comfortable sitting down on the floor, getting up from the floor, when usually we see older people who is even, it's challenging for them to actually sometimes getting up from a regular chair or a sofa if it's a really deep sofa. So we had that in our mind. And as well, we stay in a really small studio, Airbnb, in a really small studio apartment. And they have the necessary things, but they didn't have that much stuff either. And then that was another planted seed that we created in our travelings. So guess what? We came back to New York, to our small one-bedroom apartment with sofas, armchairs, we have side table, we have our dining table, we have a big TV stand with basket, and in the basket the stuff. And we have so much things, closets, and everything that society tells you that you need to have in your apartment. And we used to have all of that. But we started just educating ourselves a little bit more about living furniture free. We started watching the documentary of the minimalist as well. And my brother-in-law told me about these YouTubers who their name is Thoughtworthy CO. I'm going to link their YouTube into my description if you want to go and check them out. Well, they are Asian, they live in Hong Kong, I do believe, and they live furniture free. They were talking about all the benefits that is to live furniture free, not only on their physical body, but they were talking the benefits of having in a small space with less stuff, because then that piece of, let's say this is our living room, dining room, and everything else could become anything that you imagine that it could be. So for us it was like maybe so, and then we start donating everything that we had little by little. I think that it took us maybe like 2 years to let go of every single furniture piece, and it took us a while because we literally donate everything. We found new homes for these pieces, and so we put it into Facebook Market, and we start giving away to somebody who needed or whatever they wanted to do with it. They came and took that pieces, and it was the way that we decided that we could let go as many furniture as we could, right? So the last piece of furniture that we let go, I do believe that it was the big sofa that we used to have. It used to be brown. We got almost everything from, at that time, from IKEA. And it was a process, how I said. So since 2017, it has been a whole entire process of letting stuff go, right? And still have a lot of things that maybe we don't need in our apartment, but it's okay. It's not about being extremely extreme, although a lot of people maybe think that this is an extreme for you. But for us, we just took it like as an experiment to observe, to let go of everything, and then understand what do we really need to bring back. Well, at this moment, we have been living furniture free for 2 years and a half, and we have not bring anything back yet from everything that we gave away. Well, I can say the TV stand, we did get another one. So that was like the why. It was like, see it like more like as an experiment. Let go everything that you don't need or you think that you don't need, and then if you need something back, then you can bring it back. That's the way that we saw it, and that's the way that we still seeing it. It's an experiment, but we have seen so many benefits in our body. So first of all, the position. We sit down nice and straight. If you notice when you are sitting down on a chair, or if you're sitting down on a sofa, you sit down a little bit more comfortable, and maybe you round your back a little bit more, maybe you use your abdominals a little bit less, or hips has opened a lot more just by crisscrossing our legs. My husband didn't used to be able to crisscross, and his knees used to be just up high, and now he just can crisscross his legs. It means that his hips has opened so much just by sitting down on the floor. As well, because we sit down on the floor and it's a bit discomfort. It's not 100% comfortable sitting down on the floor. I'm not saying that. Hell no. What I'm trying to say is that we use our muscles a little bit more. So yes, if we're sitting down on the floor for the whole day, sometimes we just sit down like this and we round our back and just give a break. Or maybe we need to extend one leg because it gets a sleepy leg, right? Or we extend both legs, or we crisscross and then we crisscross the opposite. Or maybe we come into lotus pose and maybe we just extend, and maybe we just go towards the wall and sit down on the wall and round our back and get more into a more comfortable position. Yes, but we use our muscles a little bit more just by doing that. 100%. As well, I have been noticing that sometimes I challenge myself for a whole entire week. No, use my hands when I'm going to stand up. So I try to stand up in different ways just by using my core and lifting up and holding it. You know, it's been a whole entire process. And if you notice, babies or little kids, they are usually on the floor. And when they are in the floor, they are extremely flexible, their core really strong, and they are just standing and holding that position for a while. And they move their body a lot. But as we get older, our body gets stiffer. We use less muscles, especially if we don't work out. And when we are going to get in the older stage of our life, if we are not used to sit down on the floor, it's gonna be challenging for us, right? So this is like a benefit that I see not only for me right now, but for myself in the future. This Melly when he's 80 or 90 years old, maybe she's gonna feel better and being capable to sit down on the floor and coming up. Not even 80, maybe when I am 70, maybe when I am 60, I don't know. Maybe a 60-year-old woman right now is challenging for them to sit down on the floor and standing up from the floor. Just pay attention to that. So all those reasons is why we let go of the furniture, and I do believe that everything started because of South Korea. So it was South Korea's fault, let's say. And then what happened? The pandemic came, And because of the pandemic came, I am a yoga teacher, and it just became so easy to be an online yoga teacher. And that's how I start doing it. I start teaching online classes way more. Before the pandemic, I never taught an online yoga class, but in the pandemic, I started teaching a lot of online yoga classes. So by us giving everything away, it was way simpler to set up my living space as a yoga studio for my students. So when I teach my yoga classes, they cannot see furniture in my home. Yeah, maybe they see the mirror or the lamp, but they don't see like a big sofa, a table, like they see it more like a yoga studio. And I can just move this table towards somewhere else if I just want to come and do my yoga here. Like I have many places where I can go and teach my yoga classes. I like that as well. When I have private sections, they can come to my place, and it's a big space now. I mean, it's not huge, but it's a big space for them to come and take the private yoga classes here if they don't have as much space in their homes. So all of that, it just became way beneficial even for my job. I know that I am doing a recording YouTube's is beneficial for me as well, because I have the space to do it. The only that is not beneficial is that sometimes it sounds too echoey and it's because I don't have furniture, and maybe that's not beneficial. But other than that, and now the sun is on my face, but other than that, it's been amazing. So I am going to agree with you that this has been a big change that I actually never expected to do, and I don't think that my husband maybe were never expected to do either. But it's a change that has bring us way more into our life than having stuff in our apartment. First of all, as well, it's way easier to clean up. And we just like it. So it became like an experiment to understand what do we want to bring back into our home for this moment. After 2 years and a half, I don't think that we are going to bring anything yet back into our home, but it doesn't mean that maybe one day we will move to another apartment or to a home or to another country, or I don't know where. And it doesn't mean that I will not be willing to bring something back into my life, like a sofa or whatever I decide to bring, a piece of furniture into my life. It doesn't mean that. It just means that I'm going to continue sitting down on the floor even though I have furniture, just because I know the benefits of it. That is going to be so beneficial for me when I start getting older and older and older and older and older, right? So that's why. And as well, the day that I will bring, or we will, when I talk about I, it's like my husband and I. Don't ever think that I make the decisions all by myself, but my husband and I, when we are going to bring something back into it, I know that it's going to be quality over quantity. So let's say that one day we have our own home, we probably have less pieces of furniture, but I want them to be local, from locals, wherever we live. Let's say that we live in Costa Rica, I would prefer for be local furniture than just being from, I don't know, from a trendy store, let's say. I want the pieces to be timeless. I want the pieces to be quality. I want the pieces to be nice on my style, and just focus on how my husband and I style likes, instead of focusing on what is trendy, focusing on what the society tell us what our home should look like. And something that I want to say as well is that for me, minimalism is not about letting go of everything. I know we have let go of a lot of things, but I am not telling you to let go of everything, right? If you have 50 or 100 pair of shoes, and you wear those 50 or 100 pair of shoes every single, I don't know, week or whatever, it cannot be week, but every single, I don't know, year, let's say, then keep all those pair of shoes. What I'm telling you that my husband and I did was to let go of everything that we don't need. And this was an experiment, I'm going to keep saying it, but we have been noticing that maybe we don't need everything that we used to have before. So by saying that, it's like every single lifestyle is totally different. So because of that, every single minimalism lifestyle is gonna be different. As well, I want to say that minimalism on the aesthetic side is totally different than living or having a minimalist lifestyle. Example, Kim Kardashian has a beautiful minimalist aesthetic on her home. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's so minimal. Her everything is just beautiful. But it doesn't mean that she's living a minimalist lifestyle, right? She had a gazillion of clothing, and she has collections of a lot of things that it's okay if that makes her happy. It's totally fine. But for me, it's living a minimal lifestyle. Maybe my aesthetics are not in my apartment are not minimal because I have many plants and I want to keep buying plants because it's something that I love. It makes me so happy. I'm stressed as well when the plants are dying. But it's something that I really enjoy, to have plants into my apartment and have my aesthetics the way that my aesthetic is right now, and my husband's aesthetics as well. So that's the whole point of it, because sometimes on TikTok I get so many comments that I am not minimalist because of my aesthetics, but I am minimalist because of my lifestyle, not because of my aesthetics on my apartment. So hopefully this video inspires you to go and check what objects, stuff you don't need, you don't use, you don't wear, and give it away. You can sell it, you can give it away, or you can do whatever you want to do with it. Hopefully don't put it on the trash. Maybe you would do what we did. Maybe it took us a long period of time to give everything away because I put everything on Facebook Market, but I just prefer to be conscious and just don't do trash. Instead, I found new homes for these furniture pieces that they were in a great condition. I'm not telling you to live furniture free. Actually, if you are until right now on this video and you think that this is an extreme, go in the comments and write extreme. And if you think that this is not an extreme, just write no extreme. And totally, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Everybody can have their own opinion. We are happy and content in the right now, the way that we are living right now, and that's why we have been living like that. And yes, we have friends who come over and they are okay, and if they are not okay, they don't have to be coming to our apartment. We can meet up with them somewhere else. My mom came to visit me and she was okay. Yes, I did buy a small chair for my mom to sit down because it's challenging for her to sit down on the floor. She wouldn't be able to sit down on the floor and get up from the floor. So yes, I did buy a little piece of furniture for my mom, and then just, and when my sister and my brother-in-law, maybe they were feeling uncomfortable because maybe they didn't have the sofa or a chair or something different. But guess what? They lived, they survived, and they are okay, right? So that's the whole point. We did this because this is our life, because we wanted it to try, and because we have been liking it, we are still living like this. So Hopefully this video inspire you. I am Melly, I am from Costa Rica, and on this channel I do talk about minimalism. I do vlogging about my life. I talk about veganism, sustainability, and yoga because that's my lifestyle. And I always try to say that if I change my lifestyle, this channel is gonna grow with me and change with me. And I also bring you with me to go to different trips when we have travel. So hopefully this year we have an exciting travel plans, and maybe you guys can come with us as well. Thank you so much for being here. Give a thumbs up, that helps me so much to my videos as well. If you have been coming back to watch my videos, just subscribe. That will help me a lot as well. Thank you so much for being here. I have been loving, enjoying creating all this content for YouTube. Bye, see you next week.